Welcome to Monday, November 8th, 2021. This Day Weather Podcast being brought to you by Chugwater Chili. You're going to want to go to chugwaterchili.com to get your Christmas gifts ordered early and take advantage of some great discounts here during the month of November. Now, the new discount starting this week is 15% off of all gift baskets. Good through the 14th. So get ready for holiday discount number 2 at chugwaterchili.com and get some of those great gift baskets. Make a great gift idea this holiday season. More like November weather is coming. We have a break in the weather Tuesday, but it will be cooler with a few showers today, mainly in Wyoming and parts of the northern Rockies. Now, it's going to be colder with some rain and snow showers, some mountain snow, and brisk northwest winds Wednesday and Thursday. It's a minor system. The bigger part of the storm will end up in the eastern side of the Dakotas, Minnesota, those areas. And by the time the storm gets itself organized, it'll be off to the north and east of us. But it is going to feel more like November as the week wears on. Northwest flow aloft for the weekend, which means it'll be cool, breezy. Might have some snow showers up in the high country, but nothing really going on. Now, we do see a trend that does look like possibly colder weather and a better chance of snow in the region by the middle of next week. I think it's best described as this week gets cooler, next week gets colder. Got some great photos that came in over the weekend, and I think this photo here from Gregory Patton here in Cheyenne really is a good shot that described the weekend in the Intermountain West and the Western High Plains. What a gorgeous weekend it was. Now, what's great about this shot is not only just a pretty shot, but this is Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is a windsock. Notice what is missing in the windsock. Wind. So when you get a day like we had Sunday and also on Saturday with very little wind around here, boy, that makes just for some beautiful November weather. Also, with strong winds aloft developing, we got two great sets of photos of lenticular clouds in northwestern Wyoming. When you get these strong jet stream winds aloft this time of year, especially when there's moisture, you get these lenticular clouds that form downwind of the mountain ranges. A lot of times these look like UFOs, but they're called lenticular clouds because they're lens shaped. And this was a shot from Jennifer Lynch and Powell. And here's another one from Nancy Wolf and Powell. Some just textbook lenticular clouds. Now, why do they form and what makes them form? Well, simply put, it's just when you get strong winds aloft that are perpendicular or at an angle to the mountain ranges. This time of year, the jet stream winds naturally get stronger. The air gets forced up over the mountain ranges and makes a wave. If you've ever picked up a garden hose and just kind of snapped it with your wrist, you'll notice a wave forms along that hose. Same thing happens in the atmosphere. You have straight winds, you encounter a mountain range, and you form a wave that goes like this. And at the top of the wave, as the air rises, it cools, condenses, turns into a lenticular cloud, and then the air sinks again, and then you have clear skies on either side of these lenticular clouds. Now, another name for these are standing lenticular clouds. The reason is they tend to not move. And the reason they don't move is the clouds are literally forming at the peak of the wave. At the peak of the wave is where the air rises, cools, and condenses in the clouds. Now, when you see lenticular clouds, this means the atmosphere high up is very bumpy. If you were to fly, and this is one reason why, if you're flying into Denver or Billings or Casper or Colorado Springs, when you're flying in and you're coming in on approach and you're coming down, Denver's a great example, you are actually flying through these waves. That's why it's so bumpy and turbulent at times. So this is something I think we're going to see a lot of this winter with a La Nina and strong jet stream winds and Pacific moisture streaming in. We'll get more lenticular clouds throughout the course of the winter season. Another shot. This is the Aurora Borealis from the northern Bighorn Mountains on November 3rd. The aurora really faded the following night. But the good news is, with the sun going into its new solar cycle, we're going to have more opportunities to see Aurora Borealis this fall and winter season. Now, let's get back to the weather. Today, we have winds aloft that are coming in from the west-southwest, and you see these little bumps here? These are just little waves coming through, and each of these waves is going to produce a little bit of shower activity, some mid and high level clouds, but southwest winds aloft still are going to keep our temperatures, relatively speaking, mild, not as mild as over the weekend, but mild. But as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, notice there's a buckling here, the jet stream. High pressure builds right here off the west coast. Northwest winds aloft come in and drive a trough through quickly. So this is going to enter in some colder northwest winds aloft and some cooler air. Then all of this organizes into a deep low over the eastern Dakotas and up into Minnesota. This is the area right here that's going to end up with some snow and rain, some much colder weather up here. Northwest winds aloft will be pretty stiff, bringing a colder, windy pattern into the Rockies. Now, the northwest winds aloft will have enough moisture in it that the mountains will see some snow. We'll see some rain and snow showers on the plains. High pressure builds along the west coast. And what's going to happen as we go forward is this northwest flow will hold. This is the forecast precipitation through Thursday. So across Wyoming, Colorado, western Nebraska, western South Dakota, eastern Idaho, and Utah here, this Pacific flow will produce some snow in the mountains, some rain and snow showers on the plains and cooler conditions, heavier snow up here as that storm matures in the eastern Dakotas and Minnesota, while onshore flow remains stiff and strong, keeping that Pacific Northwest and even into central and northern California continuing to see more great fall moisture. This is what the snowfall totals look like through Thursday afternoon as well. So a little bit of snow on the plains, not much. Better snow chances will be in the high country. Now this is for Saturday night and Sunday. High pressure stays along the west coast, so the Pacific coast, California will see a drying trend late this week and over the weekend as this high pressure builds. Northwest winds aloft come into the nation's midsection. So this puts the Intermountain West under northwest flow, which makes it cooler and breezy, but we stay away from the real cold. That's going to be up here. As we go forward, though, by the middle of next week, the 17th of November, we do have a stronger front and a stronger front up here. Also notice we have a tendency for the high pressure to build up in the western areas of Alaska and the eastern Pacific. That opens the door. Now, we're not 100% sure this is going to happen, but if this ridge does build, and I think it's going to some extent, that's going to open the door to some much colder air. We really have not had a really big cold blast yet this fall, but it could be in the offing. I'll show you why. These are temperatures relative to average by next Wednesday. I want you to notice the purple up in northwest Canada and into Alaska. So this is, remember, these are relative to average. It's getting cold up there anyway this time of year, but when you're 20 to 30 degrees below average, you're bringing in a much, much colder air mass potentially into the Rockies and High Plains by the middle of next week. So we're going to watch this. We're talking around Wednesday of next week. It could be as early as Tuesday or as late as Thursday of next week. So this week, cooler. Next week, much colder. Have yourself a great Monday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.